Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Or is it good evening? I don't know. I don't know what we're doing lately. Anyway, if you're listening, it's Crossroads Podcast UK, and if you're listening online on the radio, then it's the radio Crossroads Podcast radio.co.uk. And don't forget any replies or any messages for our guests. Please do so. Contact us, and we will definitely ask the question. Also, we just kind of like, also, if there is any prayer or anything that we can pray for while we're on here, please let us know. And I'm sure when our guest is gone, we can get into prayer and, yes, and have a chat. But in the meantime, we've got Colin here. And good evening, Colin.
Good evening to you.
It's thank you very much for coming on. Tell us about yourself.
Um, I was born originally in Corsham in Wiltshire, and that was 83 years ago, or 83 years next month, in fact. But I come from mixed parentage, so there's a lot of Welsh in me. I identify with being Welsh more than anything, I guess.
Right.
I've
So,
yeah.
so have you ever lived in Wales then?
Sorry.
Have you lived in Wales before?
Oh yes, I was in Wales before I came to Runcorn.
All right. Okay.
Which is
Okay.
that's where I am now.
Okay. And tell us about your early days. What was it like at school for you?
I think mostly a time, apart from my infant school, which was in Corsham, which I remember with great fondness. Apart from that, I would skip the question.
Right. Okay. Okay.
And that gives you your answer.
Okay. Thank you. That's okay. And also, so you grew up, you grew up, and then next minute you kind of started going to church, and all of a sudden, you were kind of like, um, probably the songs of the church started going because you it started your kind of like music career. Can I? Is that right?
Well, I started writing poetry and verse. I would call it verse, really, when I was just 8 years old. And I can remember in my sort of period around when I was 9, 10, 11, I used to walk across the fields. There was a big 500-acre park behind the house where I lived. And I used to walk across the fields regularly. And as I was looking around, I was speaking in verse there out loud. And that really sort of set things moving. And I always, from a very early age, had a great interest in music. And fortunately for me, very fortunately, my next door neighbour was the late Sir Michael Tippett, the eminent composer. And Michael took me under his wing, so to speak. He was my first mentor, and he taught me a lot about writing and increased my love of music, really, at that stage, although I've still just regarded myself as a poet. I had my first poem published, which was published in a church magazine when I was 16. And that really, that led to great encouragement because 4 or 5 other churches contacted me wanting to repeat it in their magazines. And so that was the start there. When I was 21, I had my first collection of poetry published. The following year, the second collection came, and over the years, there's been several collections published. And my interest in music just carried on with me really just liking things and so on. And then I guess it sort of really came to a head about 25 or so years ago now, which is for some people, I suppose that would be relatively late in life there. And I started to write more and more and more. I became, after going to college, my college was at Aberystwyth.
Yeah.
And I then entered the church in the Presbyterian Church of Wales, became a minister, and I was posted here to Runcorn.
All right.
I had my one and only church was here in Runcorn, and I was minister of that church for something approaching 14 years. And during that time, I wrote a lot of hymns.
Yeah.
And at one point, I think it would be about 2006, I was off work with stress. Initially, they thought I'd had a heart attack, but in fact, it was a stress-related factor. And I was off work for 3 months. And during that 3 months, I wrote something like in excess of 200 hymns.
Gosh.
And so later that year, I had started to work with a composer who was based in Grand Rapids in Michigan. And he was a minister of worship in that church. And we wrote a lot of stuff together. I remember at one stage, he put a note on his online diary to say, this was about halfway through a month. And he said, not been doing very much with Colin this month. We've only managed to write 16 so far. So
where did you get your ideas from about the hymns and the worship songs?
Up there.
Yeah.
I believe I've often described myself when it comes to my worship songs as merely being a mailman. I was given what to write through the Holy Spirit, and I delivered it. And so I really was a mailman rather than anything else. And that I've always regarded that, and I've always stated that. The one thing I couldn't do was I was a poet, fairly widely published. I was a hymn writer, and the one thing I couldn't do was write secular songs. Everything works to a mathematical formula, and I couldn't crack the formula for secular songs. And then suddenly, in the December of 2006, I'd been married then for something like 18 months. And I was looking across at my wife, and we were watching X Factor on the TV.
Right. Yeah.
There was a young chap singing there, and his backstory, they often, as you know, with those, they have a sort of a bit of a sub story as a backstory. And he was commenting that his wife had died, leaving him with a tiny baby to bring up. And he said, since then, he said, I sing to my wife and I look for the angel. And it gelled with me. And I stood up, and my wife said to me, what's the matter? I said, I've got a song. And I went straight to the computer, and I write very fast. And it took me about 10 to 15 minutes at the outside to come up with a song which is called When I'm With You. And it's the most beautiful love song.
Well, I was listening to that today, and and I when I was listening to it, I just felt, that the Holy Spirit was talking to me, and
Yeah,
it's a well felt love song in a way, and it got to me, and I just kind of like really poured out, my tears and everything, because the song is fantastic. By the way, it
thank
gets
you.
to you. It gets to you. Um,
I
the,
saw a double edge with that song because, on the one hand, I wrote it for my wife, but I realized as well later that, in fact, you could apply it to Jesus Christ.
yes, yeah,
And if you think of that, if you think of Jesus, when I'm with you, the song goes, when I'm with you, the world's a different place. When I'm with you, there's nothing but your face before my eyes when I'm with you. The
that is
greatest ever dream could never ever seem a better place to be when I'm with you. And surely that in itself describes the relationship that we can have with Jesus Christ.
amen, amen. We can, we can all do that. We can all kind of like, have the relationship with Jesus Christ. All we got to do is reach out, and wherever we, when we fall or whatever we do in life, we're the ones that give up. But Jesus don't give up on us. God doesn't give up on us.
That's
You know,
right.
but we give up on him, and but he still loves us whatever we do. And so you went. So you went to Nashville. Now I, you know, you went to Nashville, and you created more songs. Now, what made you to want to go to Nashville? Because Nashville is, country singers and everything, and I know that you love country music and you love gospel music. But what made you actually go to Nashville? Um,
Um, I really, I think, like every country music fan, one of the dreams is to go to Nashville. And so, although it took me a long time, um, I went. I was 74 when I went there,
Gosh,
and I, I went to my friend's studio, which was on Music Row. My friend, who became my producer, Ernie Rowell. Ernie Rowell was one of George Jones's Jones Boys, and
right,
George Jones in his day was really, he was as big then as Taylor Swift is today. You know,
gosh,
absolutely massive. And I believe that right through my career, God has placed me with the people that I needed. And I regard working with Ernie Rowell as very definitely one of those cases. And it was uh, in Ernie's studio when I went there on the Saturday.
it's at
Um,
the Funhouse
that
Studios.
was the studio, that's right, on
Yeah,
Music Row.
yeah.
And there was two of my songs were being recorded there on that day. And so I thought to go to Nashville as a music fan was fantastic. But to actually hear something I'd written being recorded was beyond fantastic.
Yeah, what was that
Um,
like? What was that like when you heard your own music, and what was it? What was it like?
just very exciting but humbling. I was just so grateful, so thankful. And I can remember, as with everything, really, just that feeling of thanking God for the blessing which is being poured out onto my life. And then on that Saturday evening, there'd been various people come to meet me at the studio, people that had worked with me online or people that had recorded stuff of mine. And Ernie had a six-piece bluegrass band, and they played at a place called Long Hollow Jamboree. That's about 15 miles outside of Nashville. And they were playing that night. So he said, "Why don't you all come along?" And so we did. And it was a fantastic evening. About 10 o'clock, the band stopped for a break. And Ernie came over to our table and he said, me and the boys are going to have a break now. So when we come back, we have an open mic night. So who's going to start off? And he looked at me and says, Colin, you can start off. You can sing first. And no. I said, I don't sing. I write songs for people. And he said, no, come on, I'm sure you can do it. I said, no, I do not sing. And I really was very definite. And the others joined in. And anyway, he moved on and said that the next guy with me was a guy who tours with Garth Brooks and who I've written with. And he said, okay, Gary, well, you can sing then, start off. And this guy turned around and he said, nope. He said, I'll sing when he sings, pointing to me. So quick as a flash, I just said, well, sorry, Ernie, that's two of us not going to sing. And at that point, the next person on the table was a singer down from Canada who's recorded songs of mine. And she had a sheaf of lyrics with her. Now, this singer used to be a schoolmistress. And if I say school mom, you know what I mean. She was quite definitely a school mom.
Yeah.
She pushed these lyrics across to me and she said, Colin, have a look through those. There may be something you're going to sing. You'd like to sing. And I said, no, Jay, I don't sing. And she just said, look at them. Well, I looked away and turned the tops over to the point, and she just turned around and she said, look at them. And I looked, and where I'd stopped at the lyrics of a song called Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was fantastic because Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain was the country song that turned me into a country music fan. And I knew the song so well. And so all of a sudden I looked and I remember just slamming my finger onto this lyric and I said, I'll sing that. And I did. And I stood up and sang. There's a video of me doing that. And I tell you, I'm like a wooden beanpole. I'm really, I'd never sung I'd been on stage many times in different capacity, but I'd never, ever in my career had I sung on stage as a soloist. I'd been in a choir. That's a different thing.
Yeah,
you can live yourself in a choir. And so, of course, I'd never sung live with a band. And here I was about to do the lot. And I sang Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. There was about 120 people there. And I got a good ovation. And that was the end of it. I thought, well, it's done. And at the end of the evening, Ernie Rowell came over with this guy, Gary. And Ernie said, Colin, you were fantastic. And I remember saying to him, Ernie, you wanted me to sing and I've sung. You don't have to flatter me. He said, I'm not flattering you. You were fantastic. And he said, there's over 100 people in there that think the same. And I can remember just shrugging. It was a case of, oh, okay, so I was fantastic. I just writing it off there. And he said to me, I want you back in the studio on Tuesday. And I said, why? So he said, because I'm going to record you. Why? He said, because you were fantastic. Well, anyway, I went back on the Tuesday and I recorded a little 3-track EP. One of the songs on that was a song called Memory Number 1. This was in the May there in 2017. In the September of that year, this EP was released. It was released actually to raise money for a friend of mine who was suffering with terminal cancer. And I hope to just make her life a little bit easier. And within 2 months, Memory Number 1 was number 1 on 2 radio stations in the States.
Wow.
And it was just like that. I guess you could say it was the dream that many people had, in that I went to Nashville and I was discovered. And after that, I was back in Nashville every year to record again, and have recorded a whole lot of albums, which I'm sure you know now.
Yeah, I do know. And
So
also along the way, you've won a lot of awards as well, haven't you?
I have. I've lost count really. I've won loads of awards. Um, One of the things that was really good as well as I was made a member of a Hall of Fame in America as
All
well
right.
for my contribution to music, and I think they put it as music that will last through the generations. There, so that was a great honor for me. Um, I just have done what I enjoy. I never personally, I never regarded myself as a great singer there, but I have to accept from the number of fans that I have and the success that I've had that other people seem to like it there. So who am I to argue?
Well,
um,
certainly the award tells it all when it says here that about the Rising Star Award, because at the end of the day, your songs, it's met many people's hearts and everything, and I'm sure that a lot of people is come um come to know Christ through your music and everything. Um, you also had a Christmas EP as well, didn't you? That was released in 2000. Yeah,
yeah, that was I don't know, about 2022, something like that. I think thereabouts.
2000. Yeah, 2020.
2020, okay.
Yeah.
And that I did some cover songs on that. There was one particular song on that which I wrote. I did the whole song, the music and the lyrics, called "The Angels Sang."
Yeah.
And I remember when I was originally coming up with the idea for that, and I was really annoying my wife because I kept walking around the house, just going, and the angels sang, hallelujah, and the church bells rang, hallelujah. And I did it as I was working through it, until in the end she said to me, just finish it. So that was the story with that song. And then I think the next really pivotal thing, last time I recorded in Nashville, my last album was in 2023.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately at the end of 24, literally on Christmas, a few days before Christmas, I collapsed when we were doing our Christmas food shopping in Marks and Spencer's,
Oh
actually.
no.
And the end result of that was I ended up with a heart attack and in hospital. I was in hospital for a month there, and I had a major surgery with a triple bypass surgery. And following that, I found that I'm not sure how much it's affected my voice or how much has affected my confidence in my voice, but I no longer sing professionally. I spend my time instead writing, and I work with a partner who's based in West Virginia, Michael Wayneville, and Mike is a singer and a songwriter. And the way that we work usually is I will send him lyrics. Sometimes I send him a melody, and he will finish it off, whatever's needed, and he will record it. And we go from there. And between us, over the past few years, we've won a lot of awards together.
Yeah.
One of the major award ceremonies now in Nashville is the Josies. And every year we get nominations for the Josies. This year I have 2 nominations, and there's over 100,000 entrants.
Gosh.
And I was at the Josies back in 2023, and that was because we had a major award then. The lady, Josie Passandino, who is behind that award ceremony, she stood on stage and she said, of all the entrants, they have a maximum usually of between 2.5% to 3% who get nominations. So she said, if you have a nomination, you're already a winner.
Oh, yeah, of course you are. Yeah.
It's great. So this year, as I say, there's over 100,000 entries, and I'm fortunate enough to have 2 nominations. My partner, Mike, has he shares those nominations with me, and he has another 5.
Cool.
So between us, we do quite well.
Gosh. Okay, brilliant. That's really good. Right. Okay. What we're going to do now, we're going to leave it for a break, and we're going to come back after this advert. Thank you.
Okay.
Well done. Thank you, Colin, for doing this.
You're welcome.
I used to have a good friend. He was a minister of Stoke Road Baptist Church in Gosport.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever knew him. David Chard?
No.
No. We'll go on to. I haven't done any played any of your music. It's because I needed to get permission from you to play the music.
Oh yeah, that's no problem anyway. I can tell you now, you can have permission to play what you want.
Thank you very much.
Maybe when we start again, we can move on to the gospel music.
Yes, I will do that. Yeah, and then it's some questions, and that's it. Okay, thank you. Hello and welcome back to Crossroads Podcast UK. We still have Colin here, and I think it's been brilliant. I've been listening and to what Colin's been saying, and what a background story he has, and hopefully we'll have him on again very very soon, because there's loads to know about Colin. But anyway, we're gonna Colin. So I want to talk about your gospel music now, because now I'm going to put my hands up and say I love gospel music. I love it. I love it. Now, you have got several gospel songs out. I'm going to challenge you now. What is your favorite one?
Oh, I don't think I can. I don't think I could answer that really, because like you, I love gospel. I love Southern gospel in particular, but I love gospel singing, and I think the reason I love it is because of the vitality. It's such a wonderful uplifting factor.
Yeah.
The Welsh side of me, I remember. Once someone said, if you listen to a tune by William Williams Pantycelyn, So something like Blind Whale, you cannot sit down and sing it. It's impossible. So if you think of a song like Guide Me, O Thou Great Redeemer, you know that, Guide me, O Thou Great Redeemer.
Yeah.
It's, how could you sit down to it? And gospel music, to me, is the same.
Yeah, it lifts you up, yeah.
You cannot sit. It gets your feet tapping, it gets your arms moving, gets your body moving there, and it gets your soul moving.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's wonderful. So I just love it. And you know, what I'm working on at the moment is the beginning of a series of gospel albums, and what I'm doing, because I want them to be really good gospel, and I'm working with AI. So I'm using my lyrics and having them set to song, and
All right.
on an AI basis, and it's coming out fantastic, really does. So I know there's many arguments for and against with AI, but to me, if I didn't do this way, these songs would never come out. And so I believe that the songs themselves, because primarily I'm a wordsmith, and it's the message that the songs carry, which I think is the message which I want to get across to people. So if I can use AI in order to do that, there, so be it. And it's for me, then it's a good thing. So I'm just busy doing that now, and pretty well every day I'm producing one or two tracks there towards the albums, and my intention is that I'm not going to publish these albums out on the usual system there, because this is all words which the Lord has given me, and so I'm going to ultimately make the albums available as hard CDs or downloads for just probably something like £5 to cover the cost.
Wow.
And that's it. So and each of the CDs I anticipate having probably 12 tracks on.
Well, if you make one, make sure that I'll be the first one, because I love gospel music.
Yeah. Well, I've my working title is Hot Gospel.
Brilliant.
So it'll be Hot Gospel 1, Hot Gospel 2, and so on. And I'm just going to carry on making stuff as long as people want me to, really. So yeah, but it will be definitely for a relatively nominal amount. I'll have to work out the exact figure, but it will be a nominal amount. It's not to be done as a money-making exercise.
No.
But
no. My wife runs. Well, me and my wife run a stroke club.
Yeah.
In Devon. Well, I don't do it anymore, but my wife does. And if anything comes out of it, we just donate it to the club. It's really good. With your kind of like gospel music, you keep making it. How old are you now? Sorry, I shouldn't ask a gentleman their age.
I should be 83 next month.
This is it. This is what amazes me. You're 83. You've been a minister. You've done a lot of things in your life. Now, when are you going to say to yourself, "Hang on, Colin, I need to stop now, rest, put my feet up, and everything," because I can't see you. I can't see you doing that, Colin. I think you're going to do it. I think you're going to be serving the Lord till the end.
I will definitely. The day that I stop is the day I'm called home.
Yes. What makes you tick? Is it because you just love the music and you love God and everything? What makes you? Because some people now will just retire and and do it, but you keep going.
Well, as I said, when I went to Nashville, I was 74. Many people have long since retired by that age anyway. I only retired from my day job there so really earlier this year. And that was a result really of my heart problem
Yeah.
there. So I've only really recently retired. I just actually sent a month or so ago, I sent my last set of accounts off to my accountants. And that will be the last set I have to send off. But no, I don't see that Colin, the man, is down to retire as such at all. What keeps me going? Well, God. I love the Lord. I love serving the Lord. And as long as he gives me something to say, I'm going to be there to say it. And I consider my whole life as being such a blessing. And it is now, to be able to get to do what I do is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And so it just can't be better as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. What we're going to do now, we're going to go on to some questions because we got a few questions.
Okay.
Right. So I'll read them out. Right. Colin, what is your most embarrassing moment?
Oh, that's not a question I thought would come up.
Well, we get all sorts on here. So.
Do you know, I can't even say. I can't think of anything particularly because I guess what happens, I take in my stride.
Yeah. Okay then. Okay.
Probably would be being asked that question.
Yeah. Sorry. We always get questions, I guess. What is the biggest achievement that you think that you've done in your life?
The biggest achievement, I think one of the things that would come to mind is that back in 2011, I was invited to go to Brigham Young University in Utah, which is the big Mormon university, because students there were using some of my hymns to translate into Welsh. And so they wanted to meet me. And I was invited over there to lecture the students. I lectured them. I was there for a week. And I lectured the students 3 times on my work. And on the Thursday evening that we were there, we were taken to the Tabernacle in Salt Lake City, and the choir were rehearsing. They have the Tabernacle a 400-strong choir, which is world famous, and I was invited to sing with them, and I did, and that was a most wonderful opportunity and occasion, and even more the fact that at the end of it, the choir director said, when he thanked me, if ever you want to come and sing with us again, you'll be more than welcome.
Oh,
so
wow.
That was an amazing thing to happen, really. But yeah, I lots of other little things, really. Another amazing time was my ordination there, because it was the confirmation that I was doing what God wanted me to be doing. There, on a secular point of view, maybe some of the awards, like my Rising Star Award, was a great one to have. Being made a member of a Hall of Fame, that was fantastic. So yeah, I mean, there's been lots of highlights, really.
Yeah. Colin, have you ever met who? Blake Shelton.
Met?
Blake Shelton.
I don't think so.
No. Okay. What country singers have you met?
Well, one of my great friends who sadly passed away 3 years ago now was a singer called Jimmy Payne, and Jimmy was a multi-million selling country singer and songwriter. One of his greatest songs that he wrote um, was a song called "Woman, Woman," and that song was recorded by Gary Puckett and the Union Express back in the day, and it was a multi-million selling song for them. So, but yeah, people like Jimmy, Jimmy was a great friend of mine. Uh, um, Even as I say, my producer, uh, Ernie himself, was he had 5 number 1s in the Christian charts, one after the other in America.
Oh,
So, I don't go seeking big names. I meet people who I meet. And one of the nice things in the country music world that I've always found is that you're all there doing the same job. And you don't regard people. Someone said to me once, what stars have you met when you go there? And I laughed and I said, well, the funny thing is when I go there, some people think I'm a star. See, so I, 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 I take the word star being very lightly there, and I think it's a greatly overplayed word these days there. But I have lots and lots of friends in the business there. So some of them well known, some of them not well known, some of them unknown. But I don't collect names, so.
okay. What else is it? Sorry about this. I'm trying. We get comments on here, but it's not very appropriate sometimes. So we trying to get it out. Um, do, do, do. Right. What else is it? Oh, right. Okay. Have you ever been to the Grand Opry?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I've been to the Opry 2 or 3 times. In fact, in 2023, when I was there for the Josie Awards, it was actually held at the Opry. Yeah,
Is what's it like? What's it like there then? Is it nice?
it's just a fantastic experience there. Of course, this is the new Opry. The original Opry was in the Ryman building there, but then it outgrew that, so they built the new one, which is at the Opry Mall. But it's everything behind it. It's the fact that so many stars are involved. It's
Yeah,
the home of country music,
yeah.
and that's so to be part of that is fantastic.
Looking back on your career, what one thing would you change?
If I could change it, I would probably say I would do it all sooner. But then that's not really right to say because I believe that things have come in the order that God wanted them to be.
God's plan, yeah.
If I'd achieved what I've achieved in the music business sooner, then it perhaps would have come at the cost of me being a minister, and I wouldn't have wanted that to have happened anyway. So no, I think looking back, I'm quite happy with the way things are. As I said before, I consider my life as a blessing. I try my best to share that blessing with other people so that it can become a blessing to them as well.
Brilliant, brilliant. Colin, I've been looking forward to this for a few days. I put my hands up because, I've read a lot about you. I've listened to your music, and I think it is really, really good. And guys, this has been brilliant. I'm just kind of like overwhelmed, and you know what I'm like. I'm a soft touch. I got tears coming down my eyes because everybody has a story, and that's what we do at Crossroads. Everybody has a story. Colin's got the story, and he's been through it, and he's kind of like by being a minister and writing songs and everything. And so, Colin, I I think you're a good. You're really a good man, and God's got His plan for you. And even though at your age you still got your plan, His plan for you. And I just hope what He does, He will bless you as well, because I'm sure He has blessed you so far.
Yeah, I'm not 83 years old. I'm 83 years young, and that's
we can all
um,
s- we can all
as
say that. We can all
yeah,
say that, Colin.
as I said to you, please feel free to use any of my music on your show anytime, and
Yeah.
hopefully people will maybe look up some of my music. If they put my name into YouTube, they'll come up with lots of stuff. You just put my name into Google, and that comes up with, I think, just thousands of entries anyway.
Oh yeah, we got Colin. I am in finished with you. I'm open to ask you to come back on and and talk about more about your music, play some of your music, and get Mike on as well if we can.
Yes,
That would be really really good. Because I'm sure that would be a blessing for everybody. Everybody, I've got 3,000 people on here, and what they're saying is, they have really enjoyed it, and I have really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming on, and God bless you in what you do, because wow, that was a good story.
thank you very much indeed, Steve, and every blessing to you, and every blessing to all of your listeners as well. I
Thank
do
you so
hope
much.
I hope the show has blessed you and will continue to bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. There you go, guys. There's if you just hang on for a minute, Colin, we'll just have a chat quick. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you so much for coming on. And if you feel touched in any way by this show, please get into the inbox and leave us a message so we can pray for every one of you. And in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, next week we've got Nikki Cruz's brother, The Cross and the Switchblade. I don't know if you ever read the book, but we've got his brother coming on, and he's going to talk about the story about about his story. I actually seen the film about it and read the book about it. So that is for next week. In the meantime, guys, bye for now.